So this was my day's work today. A box. I have been silent, but I have not been idle. And I have made a box. That is really not much to say for a day. A day that I'll never get back. But the significant thing, of course, is not the box. But as is the case with many boxes, it's what's in the box. And what's in the box two old Japanese swords. They're in the box because they will be going in the mail next week to be polished. Of course, first there is this terribly abused old sort of long wakizashi, I guess, signed Kunimichi, which God knows what that actually means. If it is really Kunimichi, that's some cat that worked back in the 17th century and is somewhat esteemed. Now, as you can see, this old thing has absolutely been through hell. It looks like it stood point down in a corner or something, maybe somebody's outside storage building, and the scabbard filled with water. And you have areas of savagely deep pitting. This ain't all going to come out. And that means that to the collector who gives a shit about what other people will pay, this blade is effectively worthless. However, I don't necessarily give a shit about that. See, there's your Dewa Daijo Fujiwara Kunimichi. Dewa Daijo and Fujiwara were all titles, really, for this cat. They were honorifics that were granted to him that because of the quality of his work, he could attach these titles to his signatures. Anyway, I really don't so much give a shit what somebody will pay for it. There's good meat left in this blade and it's still usable. That is really my concern, so I'm going to send it off to the polisher and see what he has to say about it. At the very least, I'll probably have him clean it up a little bit and just have it mounted with some very basic furniture and use it. Now then there is this one, which is a curious little thing. You don't normally see them this delicate. And yeah, I'm handling them. I know I'm not supposed to handle them, but it's not like I'm not going to wipe them down after this. This, though, anyway, is what is called a chigozashi, which is to say, a sword for a child. And of course, I bought this from the daughter of a Marine who served in World War II. He was on Saipans, where he picked this up. Apparently, he was a tech sergeant of the tank crew. And now, how he ended up with this would be very interesting to find out, because obviously this is not an officer's sword like they carried. This was somebody's personal property, somehow or other. Anyway, but yeah, so Chigozashi, sword for child. This was given to children of wealthy samurai families. Usually, I want to say somewhere around about 6 years old. And it is a no-shit real blade. It is quite sharp. I've cut myself with it a number of times. uh, but anyway, so no, it's quite real. And so, yeah, you give this child this um, real weapon, and you, I guess, let that child do with it what the kinds of things that children do with sharp blades. And I guess they live through it. Anyway, been touched. So this one is, oh God. Cat's name's Kunimichi. Or no, this is Kinmichi. I think there's a Daijo and a Fujiwara in there too. I can't remember now what how this was translated to me. Of course, you'll notice the chrysanthemum there. That is generally associated with the imperial house of Japan. That's another one of those things that you were allowed to put on your blades if you were really, really good. Now this one, you turn it, and oh God, I can't remember what this is now either. It's Nihon no something. What this means is that the translation is basically this is like tip-top swordsmith of Japan, and that of course that's probably worth about as much as most such claims, but this cat actually, or at least these cats I should say, there were like 15 of them, generations, were apparently very highly regarded. So this one is going to be interesting to see how it turns out. This one, I probably will have a full art polish done on this thing, because it is, you can see a few places there where the steel of the blade is somewhat open. That's not ideal, but it's not considered to be such a it's not such a terrible flaw necessarily. But anyway, yeah, you can see this one has much more of its original finish, and you can kind of to some degree see what's going on in the blade. You know, you have real hara, which is of course the pattern of the folded metal. You can see there, I don't know how much of this camera is actually going to pick up, but a little bit of the activity in the habon. So that's the temper line along the edge. Anyway, yeah, this is unusual. Because it's such a delicate little thing, not really usable for anything unless you're 6 years old, I guess. I was disappointed when I saw it, but I bought it anyway because I could tell it was authentic. And after that, I mean, hell, I disregarded it for years and years. Just it came in a plain wooden storage cupboard, and just basically left it lying in a drawer. And it was only recently that happened to be discussing swords with a friend of mine, and he expressed an interest in seeing this thing, and he called it out as something unusual. Said I ought to focus, damn you. Said I ought to have more respect for it. So, well, here we are. Not bad for $60 is what I paid for that little thing back in, God, probably about 1994. And of course, the Kunimichi up top, I paid $30 for this, plus a an old West Point Cadet's sword, which is in similar condition, unfortunately. And I figure those two probably go together. Anyway, so that's my day.